على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام را تلك آيات الكتاب المبين إنا أنزلناه قرآنا عربيا لعلكم تعقلون نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص بما أوحينا إليك هذا القرآن وإن كنت من قبله لمن الغافلين إذ قال يوسف لأبيه يا أبت إني رأيت 11 كوكبا والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين قال يا بني لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك فيكيدوا لك كيدا إن الشيطان للإنسان عدو مبين وكذلك يجتبيك ربك ويعلمك من تأويل الأحاديث ويتم نعمته عليك وعلى آل يعقوب كما أتمها على أبويك من قبل إبراهيم وإسحاق إن ربك عليم حكيم صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Tonight inshallah we are starting the 12th surah of the Quran, Surah Yousuf. This surah is pretty much wholly dedicated to the narration of the story of Nabi Yusuf ala Nabina alayhi salatu wassalam. And this surah is, apart from a few ayat, all of it is Makki. It was revealed in Makkah. And in Makki life, at a time where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was facing a lot of hardship, and the believers were the followers of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Muslims were facing a lot of hardship at the hands of pagans, the mushrikeen. They were trying to do everything in their power to do away with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, na'udhu billah, and his followers. So in such a time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about the story of Sayyidina Yusuf ala Nabina alayhi salatu wasalam, how the prophets of Allah, how the pious people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Anbiya in the past, they have faced such hardships, such planning, such schemes from others, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected them, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the best outcome through these challenges. Allama Alusi has reported some narrations that the specific background of this surah was that some Jews had come to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam who used to speak Arabic, and they said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that if you are a true Nabi, then tell us about the story of Sayyidina Yusuf. Or they asked, why did the children of Yaqub ala Nabina alayhi salatu wasalam moved from this area of Syria to Egypt? Why did they move? Tell us the reason behind it. If you know, if you are a true Nabi, then tell us the reason behind why did they move. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him the story of Sayyidina Yusuf ala Nabina alayhi salatu wasalam, which is essentially tells in great detail the reason why these people and how the background and the situation, how these people moved to the progeny of Sayyidina Yaqub ala Nabina salatu wasalam, moved from Syria all the way to Egypt. And not only that, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told some things even more that the Jewish people did not know in their Torah, from their Torah. And the beginning ayat, Alif Lam Ra, these three verses, sometimes these three letters, they are called Muqatti'at. According to Jamhur, the consensus, the most of the ulama, it is a secret between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Common public does not know about it, and they do not need to know about it, because it does not pertain to their salvation, it does not pertain to their things of faith. So whatever is kept hidden from us, we are satisfied with that being hidden from us, and we should not make efforts to know. Tilka ayatul kitab al-mubin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that these are the verses of the open enlightening book. Inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyya, we have sent it down Arabiyan, in Arabic. Something, Quran also means something that is read, frequently read. Arabiyan, it is in Arabi. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ, so that you may understand, so that you may gain insight. So here the reference is that these people who are coming and asking you, Allah is telling the story in their own language so that they could understand. نَحْنُ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ أَحْسَنَ الْقَصَصِ. And also the nation of the Prophet ﷺ was Arab people, so you understand it first and then through you other people will understand. So this is in your language. نَحْنُ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that we are telling you, we are narrating to you this story. عَلَيْكَ أَحْسَنَ الْقَصَصِ, a beautiful, a very beneficial story. We hereby narrate to you the best narrative. بِمَا أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ وَإِن كُنْتَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ لَمِنَ الْغَافِلِينَ. So by revealing this Quran, we are telling you a very beneficial, the best narrative. وَإِن كُنْتَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ لَمِنَ الْغَافِلِينَ, and about this you did not know. You are unaware of this story before this. إِذْ قَالَ, it so happened, or it happened, that Yusuf, إِذْ قَالَ يُوسُفُ, Yusuf said لِأَبِيهِ, to his father, يَا أَبَتِي, O my father, إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ, I see in my dream, I have seen in my dream, أَحَدَ عَشَرَ كَوْكَبًا, أَحَدَ عَشَرَ, 11, كَوْكَبًا, stars. So I have seen 11 stars. وَالشَّمْسَ, so this is where the story of Sayyidina Yusuf ala nabiyina alayhi salatu wasalam started. وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ, and the sun and the moon. رَأَيْتُهُمْ لِي سَاجِدِينَ, I saw them all doing sajda to me. 11 stars and the sun and the moon, I saw them doing sajda to me. So the father of Sayyidina Yusuf ala nabiyina alayhi salatu wasalam was Sayyidina Yaqub ala nabiyina alayhi salatu wasalam, and this is a family of Anbiya. Sayyidina Ibrahim ala nabiyina alayhi salatu wasalam was the great grandfather. Then there was other Anbiya. Ishaq ala nabiyina alayhi salatu wasalam, he was also among their ancestors. So of course the Ishaq ala nabiyina alayhi salatu wasalam was the son of Sayyidina Ibrahim ala nabiyina alayhi salatu wasalam, so in their lineage. And the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us these stories is, in the Quran, when it tells us stories of the past, it has a very unique way of telling those stories. And that way is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's different stories. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala narrates a part of a story somewhere, then the next part or the preceding part even somewhere later. So there is no, the care has not been taken to narrate all the complete story in one place or in chronological order. The reason is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has emphasized the lesson that one learns from those stories rather than just reading it like a story. So therefore, whichever part of the story is important and relevant, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has narrated that story. Except for this story of Sayyidina Yusuf ala nabiyina alayhi salatu wasalam, all of it has been narrated in one surah, in one place. And this is the unique thing about the story of Sayyidina Yusuf ala nabiyina salatu wasalam. The other unique thing is that this story has not been mentioned anywhere else in the Quran apart from this Surah Yusuf. Other Anbiya, other nations, their stories have been mentioned at different places in multiple times, even repeated. Even the same event from that story has been repeated multiple times. But this story is unique in this sense. The reason is that history or khabar or news of the past itself is not important, but the insha, the intent behind it. Why is the story being told? That is the style of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that what you learn from it, the lesson that you should learn from it, that is more important. So therefore, wherever relevant to the lesson, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions some part of any story. So Sayyidina Yusuf said to his father that I have seen 11 stars and the sun and the moon doing sajda to me. His father, Sayyidina Yaqub ala nabiyina salatu wasalam, he told him that Ya Bunayya, Qala Ya Bunayya, O my son, La taqsus ru'yaka ala ikhwatika. Do not tell your dream, do not narrate your dream to your brothers. Fayakidu laka kaida, lest they should devise a plan against you, they should do something to harm you. Inna ash-shaytana lil insani aduwwun mubin. Surely shaitan is open enemy for mankind. So from this verse alone, there is several lessons that we learn. The first thing is that the dream, the meaning of this dream was, as Sayyidina Yaqub told, as Sayyidina Yusuf ala nabiyina sallallahu alaihi wasallam learned later on, the 11 brothers were the 11 stars. The sun was the father, the moon was the mother. and he saw them doing sajda. The meaning was that someday Sayyidina Yusuf, Allah will give him such honor that all of these will respect him and all of these will look up to him in regard. But Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, the 11 brothers that he had, only one of them was his real brother. His name was Binyamin. The others, the 10, were stepbrothers, brothers from another mother, a different wife of Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam. And they had wrongly thought that the father Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam loves Yusuf more than us. So they had developed a kind of envy among the brothers between Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam and the other brothers. As soon as Sayyidina Yaqub heard this dream, the first thing he mentioned to him, Sayyidina Yusuf, was, Ya bunayya la taqsus ru'yaka ala ikhwatik. Do not tell your dream to your brothers. Do not tell your dream to your brothers. We'll inshallah tomorrow talk about the reality of dreams and what is behind dreams, because that comes under this tafsir of this ayah. But the one thing that we should learn from is that our dreams are not meant to be told to everyone. The Prophet ﷺ has advised us to narrate your dreams only to a knowledgeable and wise person, and if you don't find some certain person, if you want to tell it to somebody, then at least tell it to somebody who is really sincere and has good intentions for you, rather than telling to anybody. فَيَكِيدُوا لَكَ كَيْدًا. If they hear this dream, they might do something, they might plan something against you. Therefore it is mentioned, it is understood that even if somebody sees a dream, and it's a true dream, and we talk about the types of dream tomorrow, even if it's a true dream from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, still dreams relate to that kind of destiny which has not been 100% decided. Therefore, telling the dream to the wrong person, people might devise a plan, or people might give a wrong meaning to that dream, and the destiny may change. Because it is, we call qaza'i mu'allaq, it is hanging, and whichever direction it can take, either of any directions. Dreams. Inna shaytan al-insani aduwwun mubin. And then Sayyidina Yaqub was a Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was warning Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam that you might get harm from these people, but still he's not saying that these are bad people, these are evil people, but he's saying it's in reality shaitan is the enemy of insan. He may cause them to do something. They could come under the influence of shaitan, and then he could do something, he could make them do something that will harm you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding. Another thing that should be understood is that if you know that somebody can be harmed from some other people, then it is perfectly fine, rather in a way your responsibility, that you warn your Muslim brother about the harm that you might get from someone else. This does not come under ghibat or backbiting. If you know that certain person is that kind of a person that if you deal with them, they are going to hurt you, or they are going to damage your interest, or they are planning to kill somebody, for example, then it is responsibility that you tell that person, you warn them that such and such thing might happen to you, such and such people are planning against you, or they might plan against you. That is all permissible, that does not come under ghibat. Inshallah tomorrow we'll talk about under these same ayat the types of dreams and what should be our approach towards our dreams. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.